and welcome to our basement, or as we like to think of it now, kind of our makeshift root cellar. If you don't know what a root cellar is, it is what they used to do before we had all of the modern ways of keeping our produce nice and fresh. They would have a below ground structure or building that they were able to keep all the root vegetables, which is why it's kind of called a root cellar. You can keep some fruit down there as well to prolong the shelf life or prolong the season. So we have tried that this year for the first time with our sweet potatoes and our apples. Well, the thing to know about storing these things, storing different kinds of produce, just in general, but especially in a closed-in location, is something called ethylene gas. Ethylene gas is a chemical that can trigger premature ripening in some fruits and vegetables depending on whether or not they're sensitive to it. There are some fruits and vegetables that produce a lot of ethylene gas, and then there are some that are really sensitive to it. There's a super long list. I know as far as the ones that produce it, apples, avocados, apricots, peaches, pears, tomatoes also do as well, and there's a longer list than that. And then I know that the ones that are sensitive to it are unripe bananas, which is fun to note. So our apples that we have stored, apples in general produce a good deal of ethylene gas. So it's really important to keep those separate from the fruits and vegetables that are super sensitive to it. But we have used our basement as our root cellar this time. And we have stored sweet potatoes and apples to see how long we could kind of keep them okay to eat. We got the bunches of apples and the boxes of sweet potatoes at the same time. It was in September of 2022, and it is now mid-January 2023, and we are still eating the apples. So I'm going to show you how they look now. We tried two different ways of storing the apples. We did one where we individually wrapped each apple in its own little case of paper, and then we had one where we did layers of apples separated by cardboard, which we know now not to use because cardboard can actually invite some bugs and different kinds of pests, so we're going to swap that out. But I'm going to show you how those look now. These are the apples that we did individually wrapped in paper. We got these in September, and these are the apples that we separated by different layers of cardboard. So they are touching each other, but not as much as they would be if we had just dumped them in there. So let's just see how they look. Let's try, this one was near the top, and so it looks pretty good. It's not soft. Some of them have gotten a little softer, but they're still edible and they still taste good. And we've had both of these batches since September, since mid to late September of 2022. Let's take a look at a couple more of them just to see. Let's try to get one closer to the bottom. Okay, here's one. It's got a little bit of discoloration, but still firm. Doesn't smell bad. It smells really, really good and fresh and appley. But some of these will still be crisp. These are the Granny Smith green apples. And let's check out, I think the other ones we had were the red apples, I think the Gala apples. These are definitely a little softer. Still not bad at all. I mean, they're just a little darker and a little softer. But this one, oh, this one looks nice. That one looks very nice, and it's very not squishy. These definitely got a little squishier. I think simply because they weren't separated so meticulously like these were. Overall, I mean, we've had these since September. That has kept for a very, very long time. They're still great to eat, still relatively fresh. Okay, so this is the box that we've kept our sweet potatoes in. Put it in here with different pine shavings to keep things dry and cool. And that's the main part of a root cellar, is to keep the produce cool, because heat will cause it to begin decaying a lot faster. Sweet potatoes are sensitive to ethylene gas, so it was kind of important. We did the best we could by keeping the apples away over there, these over here, and in a not fully closed, but mostly closed container. And so let's see, I think we have one sweet potato left. So let's see how he's looking, because we also got these in September of 2022. This is our little potato habitat. It's just a plastic bin. Let's see, we have the pine shavings, and this thing was full, but let's see how this little guy's doing. I think this is our last one. And he is looking good, looking perfect, sweet potato-y, lovely. Oh my goodness. So this is the last potato standing. Another thing that root cellars are good for is keeping or storing your canned goods and things that you've preserved. So I think actually the first video I posted, I showed a little time lapse of us actually setting this up, and you can see it's a lot emptier than it was. But we have still 70-something quart jars rather, of green beans. That is what we've done with our root cellar / basement to try to make the most out of preserving our canned goods and produce. A lot of this stuff and a lot of the preparation you have to do for preserving or for doing some sort of root cellar in a basement, or I know there are some people that actually, if they don't have a basement, dig into the ground, bury a trash can, or some people get old refrigerators and bury in the ground to be able to store food that way. So those are also options. There are a lot of options if you don't have a basement or a cellar or something like that. But this is how we've been able to increase the longevity of some of our produce that we eat regularly. And hopefully next year we'll be able to do a lot more with the different produce that we have and just see how we can make the most of what we grow and what we are blessed with. So thank you so much for watching. I hope some of this was moderately helpful, or if you just were curious, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.